Hi, guys. Welcome to the Pretty Little Book Nerds podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Genevieve.
And I'm Danielle,
And
and we're
we
here
go ahead. Sorry.
we're here today with Becca Kinzer, author of Dear Henry, Love Edith. So thank you so much for joining us. I love this book. Did you like it? Yeah, you liked it.
I love those
Yeah.
books.
So, and I just looked too. You're from Springfield,
Yes,
Illinois. That's
Springfield,
so funny
Illinois. Yep.
because
It's like right in between us.
yeah, she's in St. Louis and I'm in Chicago.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
realize you guys are, yeah, we're kind of make a little line down the
Yeah.
Midwest. Yeah.
Yeah, so during one of our like reading weekends, we met in Springfield at an Airbnb.
Yes, we did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see any of the Lincoln stuff or did you stay pretty holed up?
I don't
Um,
think we got out of our pajamas. That
Yeah,
well,
fair
we
enough.
went to Olive Garden and Barnes and Noble,
Oh,
Okay.
but that's
that's all we do.
You hit the highlights, it sounds like.
yeah, we couldn't find any like I don't think we looked for any local bookstores. Usually we do, but for some reason we didn't that time.
There's an indie bookstore, but it's not in Springfield. You have to drive about, it's in like past Chatham. It's a cute little store, but yeah, it's about 20 minutes away, maybe a half hour. But the owner, he's like 80 years old and he's just the cutest thing when you go in there. So I would recommend there if you're looking for like, yeah, an indie bookstore. Otherwise, Barnes and Noble's about it.
Oh, really? Okay. We'll have to keep that in mind for next time.
Yeah, we will for sure.
So how did you get the idea for Dear Henry, Love Edith?
For Henry and Edith. So this was the first rom-com that I wrote. When I first started, I was kind of testing the waters with romantic suspense, trying to figure out what style of story I wanted to tell. But I just got this like, I just want to write a fun story with while you were sleeping vibes, like some misunderstandings and things like that. And so to come up with the idea, I was thinking back. I had this experience in my probably mid 20s where I was living in an apartment at the time, and it was a small apartment. There was just four buildings within it, and so everybody knew each other. When I first moved in, it was a friend who like told me about the apartment building opening up, but eventually people started moving out, and I never saw them, but it was like I overheard them, so I knew a couple of guys had moved in below me and they were there for months, but we never crossed paths. Like I think just the I always came in the front of the building, they came in the back. We just never saw each other. And it wasn't until like one day my doorbell rang, which I'm like, who's at my doorbell? Like inside the building. And I go and I open the door and there's this guy standing there and he's like, hey, I'm your neighbor from below. I'm like, oh. And he's like, and I'm just here to tell you we're moving out. Like there's going to be a moving truck. I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, it's nice to finally meet you. And he's like, yeah. And as he was leaving, he turned around and said, how come all this time I thought there was an old lady living above us? I'm like, I don't know. Like whatever he heard from me, I was thinking like, well, I did have a cat. I was single. I don't know. I played old music. I might play Billie Holiday or something. And so it was just funny to me that I was like, and I also, I mean, his impression when I saw him, I was kind of like, you're him? Like you're not what I pictured, living below. But it was just funny to me how we just little things, we get these ideas or start filling in these impressions of people. And so that kind of later, when I thought, I want to write a fun rom-com, um, I kind of played with that of like, all right, two people, they don't meet, but somehow they get the impression the other person's elderly, and just kind of started going from there of like, how do I make this work? And eventually it turned into Dear Henry, Love Edith.
Um, did you base any of the characters off of real people in your life?
Not really. When I went to my hometown in Kiwani, they were all like, "All right, who's this person? Who's that? Like, how dare you make our town look ridiculous?" I mean, joking around. I was like, "It wasn't you. It wasn't you. It was more the town kind of has the vibes." I was thinking of my grandma's hometown when I was growing up. It was a small little town about 15 miles from where I lived, and it wasn't really like the people so much, but more the town, the tiny setting. And I will say I have aunts who are twins. And they crack me up. Like they're kind of when I was growing up, they would always follow, even when they moved away, that small town newspaper. They'd be like, "Did you see in the Chronicle like that this happened?" And I mean, it's just kind of those vibes of that small town and the people that just know everything that's going on, or they just make things their business. And that's why I love small town settings anyway. But yeah, it was just kind of a mashup of people I've met over the years and maybe a few family members.
It kind of reminded me of Gilmore Girls, especially the part where like Steve passes out in the medical tent and stuff, and everybody thinks she's doing a demonstration and nobody's listening to her. Like, it
Oh,
really
I
reminded me of
definitely,
here.
yeah, I'm a big Gilmore Girls fan. Like, I used
Oh,
to
okay.
watch that show. So I love dialogue, kind of heavy stories as well. And yeah, the townspeople, that's why I love Gilmore Girls, is because of all the quirky side characters, and everyone you meet. So that definitely, yeah, I take it as a compliment. If someone's like, this kind of reminded me of Gilmore Girls, I'm like, I'll take it because, yeah, I love that show.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna have
because
to watch
sometimes
it at some point,
yeah,
considering how
you
much
still need to
Danielle talks
watch it.
about it. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
What?
I think I brought it up in another interview too.
Yeah.
But um yeah, because I feel like it wasn't just the main characters. You want to know what all of the side characters are doing too. Um
I do. I've said that sometimes my side characters try to take over the story. I'll be like, okay, you guys, stand down. And that's one of my other books. I wrote with the side character's point of view as well. And I found out some people like that, and some readers really do not. They only want the main, two characters. But I was like, but I love this side character, and he had a cute story too. But
yeah.
yeah, I like those quirky side characters.
Um are you in this that same scene with the medical tent? What was it was like the 4th of July fair? Is that what it
Yeah.
was? Um you mentioned Abbott and Costello. Are you a big fan?
I
I just have
think
to ask.
yes. So growing up, I think I've heard about with music, they say like that music you listen to kind of in your early teen or those formative years, like it just becomes that's your music or your stuff. And I feel like it was for me, it was the movies that I was watching. I watched the AMC at that time, which is more like Turner Classic now, but it was showing a lot of those old classic movies. And it just, so I don't like watch them all the time now, but growing up, yeah, I watched some Abbott and Costello and watched a lot of the old musicals. And of course, I like Paul Newman. He's referenced a lot in
That
this.
was my next question is how
Right.
big
Well,
of a
yeah,
difference?
it was just all from like these were the movies I was watching, when I was maybe junior high and high school. And then it broke my heart at work. I work as a nurse, and I was asking around to my coworkers, and so many of them were like, "Who's Paul Newman? Who are you talking about?"
Oh
Like,
my
ah,
God.
Paul Newman. And so I could finally, like, he's on the spaghetti jars when you're at the grocery store. They're like, "Oh,"
The
and he's
salad
in your,
dressings.
yeah, they're like, "He's in your story." I'm like, "Well, he was a really handsome actor, okay, before the salad dressings and yeah." But then I also found out though, so hopefully you guys know, they don't even know who Meg Ryan is. And I'm like, you
What?
guys, I know. I started doing this poll because a lot of my coworkers they're in their 20s, mid 20s. But I was like, Meg Ryan, you've got mail and nothing. Because I mean, that movie's been out quite a while now. Like you realize how.
That's like the iconic romance movie.
Yes. One of my coworkers, she's like, all right, I went home. I found You've Got Mail. It has dial up. Like that just blew her mind for the internet. Like, yes, but you don't have to say it like it's that ancient. But that day at work, when I'm asking everybody, I'm like asking the dietitian, I'm like, you know Meg Ryan, right? Somebody know Meg Ryan. And I kid you not, we were admitting a new patient. She was like 99. And she's like, I know who Meg Ryan is. I'm like, ma'am, you're not helping my cause.
Well, I can say I'm 23. I know who she is.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah.
There we go. There's hope. There's hope.
They haven't even seen Sleepless in Seattle.
Oh no, these movies, I mean,
No?
that's, I mean, they were came out what, late 90s or mid 90s.
Still.
So
Yeah.
I know I'm like, well, I guess that has we're coming up on like 30 years ago that these movies came out.
They're
Mm,
gonna start to be called classics.
yes, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Well, Nick at Night is now playing Friends.
Oh
And
yeah.
I,
Oh no.
my best friend and I are just like, oh my God, that's no, like it's supposed to be
Yeah.
Bewitched and I Love Lucy.
Right. Yeah.
Why is this
Bring back the
happening?
Dick Van Dyke Show. Yeah.
Yes. Um, so you're also a fan of Goldie Hawn then, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I when I originally wrote this story, she was a brunette and I had her I think she looked like now I'm blanking on her name, the actress who she was in West Side Story, Natalie Wood. Natalie Wood.
Oh,
Um
okay.
and because my dad, when I was growing up, he made a comment that he had a type, the brunettes, and that my mom always reminded him a little of Natalie Wood when he first met her. And so, not, I mean, when I first wrote this, I didn't even know it was going to get published or anything. But when I finally got an agent and we were going over the story, getting ready to send it out to publishers and stuff, she brought up like Natalie Wood. She's like, all right, I'll give you the Paul Newman. Most people have probably heard of Paul Newman, but it was like Natalie Wood. I don't know. She kind of died under mysterious circumstances and
That's a way
different
to pull
things.
people in though, you know?
Yeah, but I was like, okay. She's like, can we come up with a different actress? And so I was asking my parents, and like, who should I pick? Who should I pick? And my mom was actually the one that was like, what about Goldie Hawn? She's fun. I don't think she has any scandals, associated with her or anything. So I had to go through and I was like, try to fix all the brunettes to like, now she's a blonde. Okay. So I wouldn't say like I mean, I don't have anything against Goldie Hawn, but it was more that was kind of how it came about. I was like, well, she's fun, she's pretty. We'll go with that.
Yeah. Um, I derailed this. Um, okay, so when you started writing the book, you had like the main plot down, kind of. Did you have like specific situations that you wanted to add into the story before um sorry.
Sorry, I was saying I could jump in. I didn't know. I was like, wait, is there something?
No, I'm like trying to think through my
Um,
question because I like asked half of it. So I'm trying to answer the other half. Did you have any situations that you were like, oh, I want to add this in, but like you had to wait to try to figure it out or
well, so when I first wrote this story, like I said, it was just for fun. I was like, I'm just gonna write it and then get back to the romantic suspense, like the more gritty stuff. And so when I wrote, usually the average rom-com is around 80,000 words. Like that's where my editors want my stories to be. And the very first version of this one was like 45,000. I mean, it was just this very short, sweet little story that I kind of got out of my system. I was like, okay. Well, then started entering some contests before I got published just to try to get my foot in the door and get in front of agents and editors. And so I'd entered this romantic suspense, like full length, it was 80,000 words around there. And then just to get feedback, I was like, well, I'll just throw in this other cute little rom-com because you just would submit like the first 15 pages. I mean, that was all they looked at. And I kind of fudged it a little bit. I was like, it's close to 50,000 to be able to enter it in as like a full length novel. And even that was kind of low bar because they're usually have to be like at least 55,000. But anyway, I entered it. And of course, this was the one that they loved. Like I got an email from an editor over the summer that's like, I judged in the contest. Can I see the whole story? And it's like, oh, like, who's your agent? I'm like, I don't have an agent, but I was going to a writers' conference later that fall. And so I kind of like, oh, both of my stories finaled in this contest. And I was like, well, which direction? Because I thought I wanted to go romantic suspense, but all the feedback was like neon arrows, like you need to write rom-com. So when I went to that conference, I was like, okay, I think I need to pitch the Dear Henry Love Edith one. And the feedback, people liked it. Like I met with some agents and they all liked it, but they're like, but it's way too short. Like you got to make this about 30,000 words longer. So the very like basic story that you have was there, but like that whole 4th of July scene, had to be, I added that later, and it was more expanding a lot of those town scenes and the pepper scene at the grocery store, like that was one that I added in later. And so just had to flesh out a little bit more of the town and their summer, because I think the original version was like, 3 weeks passed and then, this happened. So I was like, well, what can I put in for those 3 weeks? So yeah, it changed over time. And then, of course, once we pitched it and a publisher was interested in it, then I got more feedback and it went through even more changes after that. The ending, I didn't really initially research South Africa all that much. I was like, I know there's a South Africa. That was about the research that I did. I was like, she'll just go over there somewhere. And they're like, well, we do have some readers from South Africa that read our stories, so you might want to get some of this right. And I'm like, oh, so the ending changed a little bit there. Oh, well, and also I think in the first version, she caught just this mysterious virus, and in the process of this, COVID happened, and I was like, okay, she's not getting a virus. Like I don't even want people thinking, is that what she got? Did Edith get COVID? I was like, no, no, no. So we changed some of that too.
Oh, okay. Are there any specific scenes that you're like very proud of?
Well, the one people seem to bring up the most is the grocery store pepper scene, which is actually kind of based on a situation I had. Like that was me at a grocery store. It turned into chaos there. I just wanted, I don't know if I was getting a jalapeno, and it just was like, what is happening right now? Because she could not ring it up right. And everybody's like, that's a poblano. No, I think it's a serrano. I'm like, is this an audience participation thing right now? Like everybody. But when I got home, I'm like, I think I have another scene for my book. So people seem to like that one a lot. I think I enjoy the ending. I read a book, I think it's called Hope Goat in a Hospital or something like that. But it's written by a doctor who started a rural clinic in South Africa, and it was just perfect timing when I was trying to do the research of like, how do I make this ending still have this kind of silly vibes of the story, but be a little bit more meaningful. It just really came together. And I was working on the edits for the story while we were going through the first kind of lockdown of COVID. And so life was chaos at the hospital I was working. It was just weird and stressful. And then but to be able to come back and work on the story and reading this guy's memoirs, that even though it was written pre-COVID, like his struggles, I don't know, it was just really a personal, like, the timing of it all worked out. And it was inspiring to me to see what they went through and kind of prevailed. And like, okay, we'll get through this. It's a weird time, but we'll get through this. And then just to be working on the story, which was very upbeat and uplifting, was like, oh, this all worked out well.
Um, so I like to ask people when I've come across books in a specific way, that's not just like finding it on a shelf. I always like to bring it up and just see um how people feel about their books being um like landing in people's lives in those ways. So I found Dear Henry Love Edith because I think it would have been in June or July of 2025. I'd gotten a brand new Barnes and Noble e-reader, and when you're a Barnes and Noble member, they give you like a selection of free ebooks that you can get every month where you can like pick one and that's your free ebook for the month. And that was mine for June or July. I can't remember which one it was. Um, so like, how do you feel about your book going out that way and people finding it that way?
No, I'm so glad you shared that because I forgot I was going to ask you how you did find this book. And that though I actually love that because over the summer, yeah, I knew Barnes and Noble was running some sort of deal, But yeah, I was just like, why is my book doing so well on Barnes and Noble, like the ebook? And I mean, I was like joking and laughing, but I was on vacation visiting my brothers, and I'm like, look whose ebook is up there with Stephen King right now. Like, this never, what is happening? So, and then I found out, yeah, well, it's because they're offering it for free to people. But I was like, oh, well, that makes more sense. But I was thrilled because I like this is great because yeah, it gets it in front of people who may have never heard of it, may have never found it. No, the more places the book can get out there, I think word of mouth, that I always love that too. When someone's like, well, someone just recommended and I gave it a chance. I think the cover, this is one cover that does the yellow, certainly catches people's eye. So I know a few people have like picked it up just because it's so bright, but no, I think that's great. I'm glad you shared that with me because yeah, I noticed that over the summer of like, huh, this ebook is, yeah, getting in front of people I don't think would normally have found it otherwise.
Yeah.
That's how I got it is, I mean, she got it and then told me to read it.
Yeah, I did.
When I first saw the cover though, I thought the letter was like coming out of the toaster. Like the
Well, it
toaster
kind of
was
is.
playing
Yeah.
more of a part in this.
Yeah, well, that's the funny part is so this was my very first book. So going through like the cover design process, I didn't know what to expect. They sent me a form that like here we'll get your input on the cover. But they made this kind of this pie chart that was like the editor will have this much say, the marketing team will have this much say. And it was like your little slice of your feedback. I mean, it was a tiny little sliver. And it was kind of their polite way of saying, we're the experts. Like, I know you have these ideas of what you want on your cover, but let us do our thing. And so I was really nervous. I think the only things I told them, I didn't want real people. I wanted an illustrated cover. I was like, I want something cute. And I think I didn't even want illustrated people yet because I was just like, I don't know. There was the faceless phase. I mean, it's still there, but I was like, I don't know how I feel about these characters with no faces. Like, let's just avoid characters for now, come up with something else cute. And that was about it. Like, I didn't know, they didn't give me any mock-ups or anything. It was just like I got an email that said, okay, here's what we've got for your cover. And I was really nervous because I am a cover snob. I judge books by their covers, so hard.
Yes.
And I was like, I mean, I'm going to promote this book no matter what it looks like, but I just don't want an ugly baby to promote. And so my first thought when I opened it was just like yellow, like, oh, I was not expecting yellow. And then I thought the toaster was cute. And the more I looked at it, I was like, oh, I like this. But I always thought, I wish I'd known. I would have put a toaster somehow in the story. Like, I don't know where the toaster came from. It's cute. I like it, but yeah, I don't know. I think they wanted since they're exchanging letters in the kitchen, it was like,
Yeah.
we'll have those vibes. But yeah, it's a paper coming out of a toaster. It's like, okay, we'll go with it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how you felt about the yellow because like for me, and I've heard a couple of other people like readers say like they gravitate towards covers that have their favorite color on it. And so that was a part of what like pulled me towards it is yellow's my favorite color. And I was like, oh,
Oh, there you go.
yellow book cover. You don't see that very often. But like I also know it's a very jarring color. So how did like was it kind of a
I
bit
think.
it took a little to get used to?
Yeah, because I think in my mind, my favorite color is the blue, which is a very popular cover. If you look, there's a lot of blue covers, but in my mind, I just thought it was gonna be blue. I was like, it's gonna be a happy blue, and so I was not prepared at all for yellow, and I was like, oh my goodness. But I quickly loved it because I could spot it when people were sharing like different books. I was like, I could find that yellow cover in no time. So yeah, I fell in love with the yellow very quickly.
Um, so you said it was like it was the first book that you published. Did you end up publishing the romantic suspense?
No, we went the rom-com route. So once they signed me for this book, it's like you're a rom-com writer. That was the first, my first contract was for two rom-coms. And then I've signed another, so we've got more rom-coms coming. So the only one, my husband, my poor husband, he read that very first sloppy, didn't really know what I was doing yet story that was a romantic suspense. And he's always like, when are you going to try to publish that one? When you, and I'm like, never. That one's never seen the light of day. But he always is like, I think it's because he sat through and read through the entire thing. He's like, get it out there somehow. But yeah, no, there's a part of me that's like maybe a rom-com suspense. I would like to bring in, I don't know. There's another author, she wrote like a cozy rom-com where there was like a mystery element. I was like, well, maybe someday can work in at least something like that. But yeah, I think the romantic suspense not gonna happen.
Um, Danielle, I want to make sure I'm not talking over you.
No, you're good.
Okay. I'm trying to make sure I don't have anything else. I don't know if I have anything else. Because we normally ask about like the like writing process and the cover and stuff, but you already answered that for us.
Jumping
Yeah.
all over it. Yep.
Um, are you working on anything that we can expect to see from you?
Yes. So my next book that's coming out, that's what is today? January. It's coming out in April. So this spring. It's called Not What We Pictured. They won't be able to see it. I'll let you guys because you'll see it. So it's this one's a pink. They keep surprising me. Every book cover, I thought all the surprises were out, but they threw an orange one at me where I was like orange, and then this one I opened it up and I was like pink. Oh, it's really bright pink, but that
I'm
comes
looking at your
out.
Goodreads and it's like every book is a different color.
It is. That's why I'm like, and no blue yet. I'm like the one color I
Well,
was expecting. They'll love
I
it
guess
too. It's kind of a purple, yeah, dark purple. So that one comes out in the spring and it's ready to go. I'm just kind of twiddling my thumbs for that one to come out. And then, but the one I'm working on, I have a deadline for, it was the one that'll come out in 2027. And right now I'm just calling it my amnesia story. I wanted to do that trope. I was like, I want to write a fun amnesia story. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. And hopefully it all comes together.
Um, who are some of your favorite authors? What are some of your favorite books? What are you reading right now?
Sure.
Anything else book related?
Yeah. I'd say Catherine Center has become one of my favorites because I like her banter, her dialogue a lot. And as far as like on the low spice, that authors that write kind of similar to my style that I enjoy reading is Courtney Walsh. She has a number of books out there. And then Melissa Ferguson, I always check out what she's writing. And Pepper Basham, she's another one that she writes kind of in different, she writes some historical as well as contemporary. But her stories are always, they're sweet and fun. Um, but yeah, I think I did. What else have I read? I finally caught up with Emily Henry's Beach Read. I was like, that was on my list for a while. I was like, let me see. So that one was kind of fun. I read a lot of romance. I do like to read some historical. I don't even read that much romantic suspense. So I'm like, why did I think I could ever write it? I don't even, I'll read it every once in a while, but yeah. And then I think in the winter or the New Year's is always when it's like I feel this pull to I'm going to read nonfiction or I'm going to read memoirs. It doesn't last very long, but so I'm actually right now reading Jodi Benson's memoir. She was the voice of Ariel in The Little Mermaid, so
oh,
it's
okay.
really fun to just kind of her experience how she got that role and how it like changed her life and so I'm enjoying that one right now.
That's really funny. I'm seeing her at a Comic Con this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, now that I'm like reading the story, I'm like, oh, if I met her, I would totally be fangirling.
Um, well, do you have anything else, Danielle?
Um, so we went over authors. What do you have like an ultimate favorite book?
Hmm. I mean, I talk probably the book I talk about the most is Little Women because I have a friend who just will not like that book, no matter how much I'm like, what is wrong with you? It's a beautiful story. And her favorite is The Count of Monte Cristo, which I've tried to read twice. And those are like 70 hours of my life I won't get back, and I can't finish. No matter what I do, I just cannot get through that book. I keep saying I will. I'm like,
I
someday I
haven't
will
read that one
finish
either.
you. Oh man. Well, the thing is, I love the movie, and I think you just have to separate that this is not the movie because for a while you're reading it and you're like, this is great. Oh, this is just like the movie. And then it goes off and you're like, what is all this? I don't understand it. And people claim that it's great and I should like it. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go
No
back
wonder
and
why
read.
the movie cut it out.
Yes. I'm like, oh, it just goes on and on and on. And I want to like it. It makes me mad that she likes it because I'm like, you shouldn't like this. You should like Little Women. But so, yeah, I'd say Little Women. I'm going to stand on that one.
Send this to your friend and be like, I mentioned you.
Yes. It's like the fight we get into every couple months. It's just like somehow it comes up and then the gloves are off and we're going at it again.
Do you have a favorite movie since you talked about like you're really into movies?
Yeah, I mean, while you were sleeping, I'd say whenever I have to pick just that one that is absolute favorite, it's probably that one because I just feel like it's the perfect romantic comedy.
I
Well,
do remember that one, but I don't know.
I think you need to watch it again
Yeah,
and then
I
read Little
will.
Women.
I
And
did like
just,
Little Women. I did read that.
I have
all
not. I should though.
right, we got a list for you, Genevieve. You got Gilmore Girls, get started on that.
My mom was a Little House on the Prairie mom.
Oh,
I've read those,
okay.
but not Little Women. Miss
No.
Not Little, but
Well, I'll tell you what, if you don't like it, don't ever tell me, okay? It'll just get me fired up.
um, well, thank you so much for joining us today. Um, we're so happy that you were willing to do this with us.
Yeah. Well, thanks for inviting me and thanks for choosing it as your freebie from Barnes and Noble.
Yeah. Anytime. Now I'll look out for your name.
There we go. Yeah.
Do you get any kind of kickback whenever they do give them out for free?
I have no idea, honestly. I get every 6 months, I get a royalty statement that I don't know how to decipher. I mean, I get a little bit, not enough to retire. That's why I look to my husband. I'm like, can I retire from nursing? He's like, no, not even close. I'm like, oh, darn. And then I don't know what a lot of it means. And he's like, why don't you ask your publisher? And I'm that type of person that's like, I don't want to bother them. So no, I have no idea how some of
Okay.
that stuff works. I know I can't retire off of it. I know that. So
Yeah, so then it's not a regular ebook price that
probably not.
Barnes and Noble's coughing up.
Yeah, I'd say so the book came out in 2023. So kind of by 2025, I mean, I'm just like, however, if you find it lying on the street in a gutter and you pick it up and read it, like I'm okay with that at that point because it's like we're kind of past, I've moved on now to like the newer ones, the new release. It's just unfortunate because I think old books should still get some acknowledgement, or some attention. We just always seem to be fixated on the new stuff, the new stuff. So that's why I'm thrilled that you guys found it. You read it. I'm like, oh, we can talk about Henry and Edith because it's kind of like the world moves on most of the time to what came out, just right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, at this point, I'm like, if anybody finds some of those backlist ones, that's great. Read it however you find it.
We're kind of like all over the place with that.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that
This
you
is actually
promote
the first
older
book
ones.
that I've ever read by you. I haven't read your other ones, and I'm like,
I haven't either, I will
I
admit.
loved it so
Oh,
much.
no.
Like, I want to read the other ones.
Yeah.
Well, put them on your
Yeah,
list.
I
Yeah.
will.
I
Well,
know how those
yeah.
lists are. So, yeah,
Yeah.
Oh
they
God,
grow and grow and grow. Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah, thank you so much.